just an orientation. What we're doing right now is investing in the future of health care in Tobago. What the Tobago Regional Health Authority is doing right now is investing in every single one of you.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday, the 18th day of August 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, and my name is Akinlabi Holder, and it's good to be here with you for another week. Yes, another week of invaluable discussions and information being shared with the public of Tobago and the wider viewing public on our live chats and across our TV stations on AMPLIA and Flow. Adana, it's a new day, it's a new week.
It is a new day, a new week, and a wet morning this morning. When I heard the showers breaking the clouds, I was like, should I stay in bed or should I come to work this morning?
Well, we have to get up and get going, man.
That's right, because our viewers are depending on us to have the conversations, and of course we are so thankful to you guys for always tuning in to us when we have discussions in the morning. And Akinlabi, so many things to talk about this morning, so many things to unpack. The weekend had so many activities, so many going-ons, so many declarations, and so many things happening in our spaces in Trinidad and Tobago. And we had to talk about stuff.
I suspect you want to talk about the independence.
I ain't said anything yet, Akinlabi. I was actually going to start off with Great Race, Trinidad and Tobago, Great Race, the celebrations. Honestly, I didn't really see much about it.
Neither did I.
Even on social media, I didn't really see much. So I don't know how things, I don't even know who won, to be quite honest.
The thing is, myself and Marcus, we were talking last week, Friday, about it. And it seems as though the attraction to the Great Race has greatly died off. The public doesn't seem as interested in it anymore. And we were wondering if it is something on the part of the promoters or if it's something on the part of just the public getting, sort of, for lack of a better term, bored of the event, But even in the media space, in national media, we don't see much coverage from anything.
And I remember growing up, you're hearing about these speedboats. Mr. Solo is a name that you know, and you know when Great Race is coming up. You kind of have the hype, and I'm not sure if it's that it's bored, but I think the event itself had a little kind of rocky period, a tough period in terms of moving it from Storby, coming into Scarborough, vendors being annoyed, so many things happening there, and it kind of had a little bit of instability. And I don't know if that is the cause. I don't know what the promoters are thinking. I don't know what the stakeholders are saying. But I feel it's an event that already has that history, and it has a name for itself already. And it's a shame that it isn't marketed in a way that will build that measure of buy-in and interest. And I want to see the promoters of the event come back to the place where they have that level of pride in it, and that level of buy-in and ownership, so that they could continue doing promotions where that is concerned.
I know that some years before, just a few years before, the years leading up to it moving to Scarborough, there were bouts of violence in Storby, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that persons don't want to go about anymore, because you don't want to go to an event and bottles flying over your head and that kind of thing. And these days they're not using bottles anymore.
Oh Jesus!
It's all kind of pew.
I know. So we really have to revisit some of the things and see how best we could put things in place. Because the Great Race is such a really amazing event. As I said, it already has its history. It has a name for itself. It's a good brand, and it will be good to bring the brand back up to the place where people know it to be. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many things to discuss this morning. As Akilabi hinted this morning, of course, no Independence Day Parade 2025. We'll talk about that this morning, and I'm sure you want to be a part of it. So remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. But before we get into all of those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 18th August 2025. This year's Independence Day celebrations in Trinidad and Tobago will forego the traditional parade and fireworks, replaced by a National Day of Prayer and Reflection. While the government expects to save $2.6 million with the parade and fireworks, Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein cited security concerns under the state of emergency, noting funds will go to crime fighting. Meanwhile, no cost was disclosed for Tobago's parade and fireworks. The Office of the Chief Secretary confirmed in a press release that these events have also been cancelled and replaced with a National Day of Prayer and Reflection in Tobago. Up next, the cancellation of the Trinidad and Tobago's Independence Day Parade has sparked mixed reactions. THA Minority Leader Kelvon Morris has urged the government to reverse its decision to cancel the Independence Day Parade, calling it a cherished tradition that unites the nation. He urged that while a day of prayer is valuable, it should not replace the central independence celebration. And finally, to some news of sports, Tobago erupted in celebrations as spectators welcomed the finishers of the 57th TNT Powerboat Association Great Race last Saturday. Calm seas favored high-speed runs with track heat wave, piloted by Morgan Hannock and John Michael Sabga, storming to Tobago in 1 hour and 15 minutes and 38 seconds to set a new E-class record. Mr. Solo 2 clocked 120 mph, secured its 19th A-class crown in 55 minutes 30 seconds and was the fastest boat to Tobago. Extreme Measures clinch and F-class hat-trick, while White Heat, Ketch and Ratchet also impressed. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And well, Akinlabi, we were talking about Great Race, and there we have it. Biana said in the news that Stormy erupted, so I suppose people went out. It's just funny that we didn't see anything on social media. I don't know if you saw anything, Biana, or...
Yes, there were short snippets, probably not of the race, but what the action at Stormy in terms of how the Carib promoters, they had a little stage and you're probably hyping up the crowd, but in terms of live coverage of the race itself, I didn't see any of that.
And not even just live coverage of the race, but in terms of the crowd, because normally you would see people posting videos, you know, seeing the crowds and how people are responding. I didn't even see any of that, but I suppose if you said there are videos out there, probably didn't come across my timeline just yet. So maybe if I do some scrolling today, I might see something there. But you know, we have a burning topic, a very, very burning topic that all of Trinidad and Tobago is a part of. And the conversation started on Friday when the announcement came that there will be no Independence Day Parade 2025. Before we get into what people are saying, how do you feel about that announcement?
I feel a bit disheartened, you know, that is the day that the nation look forward to, you know, to unite. Even if it is just to come out and support, if it's the unarmed contingent or the armed contingent, you know, that feeling has been taken away from us. But prayer is something that is very important, so replacing it with it. But I also believe that we could still have the parade and have an evening of prayer. That's just my opinion.
Well, for me, I know that the Independence Day Parade is very important to many people across Trinidad and Tobago. It's an opportunity to show that patriotism and love for country.
Yes.
But it's one thing I try to keep as a mantra, is that change is always constant. And this is just a temporary thing. It's 1 year. And I don't foresee this being like a permanent decision. And therefore, I think in my mind, it's okay to skip a year of Independence Day celebrations if it means securing the well-being of Trinidad and Tobago. They cited national security threats. Quite frankly, we don't know what these threats are. We don't know how large the extent of the problem might be. And therefore, we just have to trust the national security apparatus to say that they want to cancel the parade, because really and truly the parade is their day to celebrate as well. The national security apparatus takes center stage. And if they are canceling their own day where they have so much pride in it, then it has to be a serious threat. Something seriously has to be going on. And so I trust the national security apparatus to really have the best interests of Trinidad and Tobago at heart.
But is there pride? But hear me out, right? And I'm coming from a different angle. While we understand it's just one day and they're replacing it with prayer and we should suck it up and behave ourselves and just, fall in line with what they say, we have to consider the parade is not just about the forces that march. We're talking about vendors.
Yes.
Who come out on an annual basis, persons who have already invested in produce to prepare for Independence Day. People have already expended, persons who they might have tendered, because remember, tenders have already started going out for people to procure services for the Independence Day parade. Small businesses have to expend because there is no mobilization fee that is paid to these businesses. So they have to spend money from their pockets to start procuring items, and then to be told, oops, we're not going to have a parade and you're not going to recoup the expenses. So we have to consider all of these things as well, not just, well, they say no parade, so let me just stay home and pray. That's not what it's about. You have to look at the bigger picture. You have to look at it holistically. And I understand, okay, there is a need for us to, the security measures have to be put in place. But I believe we've been in an SOE for a couple of months now, if my calculations are correct. And from then, we could have said, listen, because of the intensity of the security situation in Trinidad and Tobago, let us consider foregoing the parade from since then, so people would have had an expectation. But you come 2 weeks before Independence and say no parade, while people have been expending themselves and preparing for building anticipation. We're talking about national pride, every creed and race coming together in the streets. I was looking at somebody on social media posting up their views about it, and you saw the video there where every creed and race, people forgot who they were in terms of separations, political affiliation, racial divide. All of that went out the window because people were together celebrating a national event. They were celebrating national pride. The only time that everybody comes together outside of Carnival is at Independence. And that was stripped away from people without, it's like pulling the rug from under your feet. And I'm not saying that we don't have security issues. I don't know what the issues are. I was not a part of the conversation. They didn't invite me, so I don't know. But what I'm saying is there is a way to do things that will not affect and impact. It's like a domino effect. A lot of people are affected by this, and we have to also consider them. So we can't just say, well, keep quiet, no marching today, it's just 1 year, relax on yourself and humble and eat humble pie. Well, remember, these same vendors, let me just continue, Akinlabi, sorry, because I'm very passionate about this. These same vendors, when they procure their services for events like these, they wait months on end, or sometimes up to a year to get their pay. And so when they expend themselves up front, I mean, what we're talking is a larger conversation here. It's a larger conversation.
So, Adana, a couple of things to consider. I understand everything you're saying, and I would agree with everything you're saying, but there are a couple of things to consider. We are not sure when the national security apparatus would have gotten news of the security threat. They may not have gotten news of it.
So why are we in an SOE? The same reason we're in an SOE is the security threat, right? And it's ongoing.
I understand, but this particular threat that they're speaking about, we don't know when they would have come across that information.
I don't want to be I don't want to be.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just simply
saying. When you look at some of the reasons, did you listen to some of the reasonings they gave as well? They didn't just talk about the threat. They spoke about other things.
I know, they talk about saving money and 2.6 million and whatever.
And the animals and the fireworks.
Yeah.
All of those things they talk about.
And I think those things are side notes. But if we're talking about the security threat here, what I'm saying, I'm just being devil's advocate. And I'm just saying, we're not sure when they would have come upon the information. If they came upon the information weeks in advance, I agree with you. They should have let people know way in advance that this thing. But if they came upon this information last week, then their hands are tied. There's nothing much they could do. And in my opinion, in the wider scheme of things, it's better to safeguard your life and recoup your losses at some other time and try to rebuild yourself than to go out there and put your life at risk.
And I agree with that, but is there going to be a conversation for that part of it?
Well,
because remember, we're only talking about no Independence Day parade, no follow-up, no nothing about it. No parade because this is the reason, full stop. There is no comma. You know, in primary school, you used to say full stop, comma, full stop. It's just a full stop, no comma to the next full stop. So we need to have that conversation as well, where people can understand, listen, we know you all are disheartened, we know that you're disappointed, we know you expended money, we know all of these things. Let's have a conversation to see how we can recoup the loss, or how we can, put some other alternative measure in place for the persons who really are feeling the brunt of, Independence Day parade. I mean, yes, security is important, but we need to have a wider conversation as well. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, our producer is prompting us because we're really passionate about this topic. It's a national issue, and we know that all of you also have your opinions. Remember, you can leave them on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel as well. We want to hear from you. We want to know what your opinion is. Biana, thank you so much for joining us on set this morning, and do have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Same to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And of course, we take pride in celebrating this morning, and a special birthday goes out this morning to this special lady. She is the mother of Mr. Kirsch Ramsey. You might know him. You just might know him. This is Alicia Ramsey Phillips. She's also the sister of Beverly Ramsey Moore, and she's also my cousin. So I want to say happy birthday to you, Alicia. Happy birthday. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, amazing birthday today, that you have all the love that comes with celebrating a birthday, and that Mr. Philip ensures that he showers you with gifts today, and call me to let me know if you get them. Happy birthday to you.
And we continue the celebrations, and we say happy birthday to Mr. Nikosi Fletcher. Happy birthday to you, sir. God's richest blessings on this special day. We pray that you are blessed and you are covered. We pray that all your friends and your family, they come out and they celebrate you. We know outside is wet, it is rainy today. We hope that you are safe, but you celebrate in style. Happy birthday to you, sir.
All right, and we have a special birthday today. Do you know this gentleman? Do you know this gentleman? Of course, if you are from Tobago, you reside in Tobago, you're in the diaspora, wherever you are, this man became very, very known and popular around April time. I'm just saying, he is the MP for Tobago East, Mr. David Thomas, and he's celebrating a birthday today, and we do say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and as you continue to serve your people, may you receive the grace of God to so do. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Thomas. And of course, if you are celebrating and we don't have your photo, we still join in the celebration with you. We want you to have an amazing, amazing birthday, or whatever celebration you're having. But we remind you to put God first, because He's the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. So, Akelabi, as I said, we have plenty to unpack.
Yes,
who are we having conversations with this morning?
And I'm so glad that we reached this point of the show, because now I can say that we have on the line this morning Captain Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police, and he's going to be talking about the No Independence Day Parade. So some of the issues that you raised, Adana, we could really dive into that with Mr. Gary Griffith this morning. And after that, we're going to have on Sheriff Tobias, who is the captain of the Boys Brigade. They also are going to be talking about the No Independence Day Parade, and they're going to give their perspective on the entire thing. And finally, we're going to have a Tobago Day recap. Yes, a Tobago Day recap. Sunday, yesterday was the last day of the Tobago Day celebrations in New York City in the United States. So that is what our program looks like this morning, Adana.
All right, it's a very, very interesting program, and we do hope that you, our viewers, can go through the conversations with us. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel at Tobago Updates. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your opinion. Perhaps you might have a question you'd like for us to answer, so feel free to leave it there for us. Whether you're viewing right here in Tobago, Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, whether you're in Canada, England, wherever you are on the globe, we thank you so much for choosing us this morning. We have to go for a short break before we begin conversations, and as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know them once again. They better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Skibidi bang bang, yours truly Juby representing for Neon, a tribal affair by Highlighter Entertainment. We are here.
Tobago, are you ready? Highlighter Entertainment's Neon, a Tribal Affair. Costume sales are live. Register now at highlighterentertainment.com. This is Carnival meets culture. Rhythm meets rebellion. Neon is calling. And your moment is now. Light up the night.
I'm jamming on the pavement with Neon. Jamming on the pavement with Red Woman. If you come to rub and shoot.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. And unfortunately, we won't be able to produce that interview with Captain Gary Griffith, but we have in studio with us Mr. Sheriff Tobias, who is the captain of the Boys Brigade here in Tobago, and he's come to talk to us about the No Independence Day parade and his perspective on the entire matter. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
So I know that the Boys Brigade is an essential part of the Independence Day parade in Tobago. Your thoughts on the cancellation?
Actually, I have mixed views on the parade, the cancellation of the parade. My own personal view is that I think that of all that was happening and is happening, we should have really known of the cancellation before the date that it was given. And I can tell you from our own perspective, when members heard of it, some of our members actually cried, and that's no joke. We had some of these young members crying because, I mean, they were preparing since Easter for this parade, and they put in a lot of work, hard work. But we had to sit down and talk to them and explain to them, you know, sometimes it happens and why it happened this time around.
Mr. Tobias, you know, you spoke about the young people crying when they got the news, and of course it speaks to the fact that not just is it emotional, but it has, could you speak to the fact that it's a measure of national pride, and the fact that these young people wanted to participate in this event? And you're mentioning that they're practicing since Easter they've been preparing. So when they responded to the news in that way, what did it say to you as the captain?
But actually, it was heartbreaking to see these members so involved into wanting to celebrate such a national pride. And I put independence above every other thing, even the carnival that we go all out. And to me, independence is the highest level of celebration any country could have to mark getting away from motherland and saying we are now ready to rule ourselves. We are now ready to do what it takes to move us from where we were to somewhere else. And having this children recognizing too, you know, that it also says that for the kids and for the organization, it's a way on, I think it's the only opportunity we have on that level to sell the organization. Because of that, you are at your best. right? I can tell you this year we had a band of 50. You know how long we haven't had a band of 50 persons? Right? 50. And as the officer who training the band who came from Trinidad said, boy, you all have 4 powerful songs to come down the road. Nobody can touch all you, you know? And now that just show a moment of dull.
As somebody who has been part of the celebrations for years, tell us how long in advance do you all start preparing for something like this?
Well, as I said, normally we start after Carnival, but this time we started after the Easter holidays. Right after the Easter holiday, we started preparing, you know.
You know, I find that to be so very interesting because you're saying after Carnival, after Easter, which is months in advance. And why do you think it's important to put in? Because when you listen to some of the responses, there are mixed reviews on this matter. And when you listen to some of the responses of people, some people trivialize the thing and they say you're just marching down the streets, right? But you're talking about preparing from since, let's say, February, March, April. You have been preparing for an event that takes place in August. So this is months we're talking about. Why do you think it's so important to put in that amount of time for a march past?
Okay, well, it's not just a march past. I want people to understand that. It's not, for some maybe it is. It has, to me, and what we try to inculcate to our members, independence is not just a march. It's a national pride. It's about national pride of understanding where we came from, you know. But also it's a way of getting members up to a certain standard, and it happens during that period of time. So we equip them or start equipping them from February going back to bring them to a certain level, because when you have to actually deal with the military, they have a certain standard that they don't drop below, and believe me, if you go below that, you'd be off.
In your I don't know if you have had conversations with other organizations, other NGOs that participate in the parade, and what are their thoughts, what their feedback is like?
Basically, some of them that I've spoken to, well, not some, all who I've spoken to are really disappointed and questioning what Tobago can do, you know, outside of that realm. And I was saying to them, listen, this is Trinidad and Tobago, the Republic. We have one Prime Minister. We have one national, Homeland Security now. And if it rules in Trinidad, it rules in Tobago because of how the governance is set up in the Republic.
And you heard it coming out from the Office of the Chief Secretary as well. They put out their press release stating that, you know, Homeland Security said this, and this is what we have to comply to in the Tobago instance as well. You know, I really wanted to zero in, and because people take a lot of things for granted, they don't understand the sacrifices that go into certain things. And we understand, okay, the parade is off. The site is security issues. We are not aware. We are not privy of what the issues are. So we just have to go with what is, you know, what the central government, the administration says. This is what they say. This is what we have to go to. It's already that like that. We can't reverse it. We can't reverse it, right? But some people don't understand the sacrifice, the commitment that goes into what the actual, and you mentioned it, what the actual Independence Day parade is about. It's not just about a march past. It's not just about the forces coming together, but it's really about uniting a nation that is divided by race, that is divided by political affiliation, that is divided by socioeconomics, that is divided by so many different things that we could categorize ourselves into. But on Independence Day, we come together as one.
Yes.
And so this is the reason for me, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, why so many groups and organizations and the forces and the people who come out to see and to celebrate, people say they're coming to see the water trucks. I mean, so what? You know, this is the reason why people feel the way they feel about it, right? Because it's a national event where we celebrate our freedom from colonialism. Right? And so we have all these groups of people sharing the same thoughts and feelings about where we are. In the event that we are in the situation that we are in now, there's no parade. What do you think, or what should be the discussion, or at least for Tobago, right? How do you think we can still celebrate outside of the day of prayer, which is absolutely necessary? Men ought always to pray. The Bible says that men ought always to pray. Outside of that, how do you think, or have you had any thoughts or conversations with persons or stakeholders or people who are invested in the Independence Parade? How can we still have something to celebrate our independence?
Well, I've spoken to one officer, I wouldn't even say from where, and he would take something to the authorities to see if we can have just a march without the glamour like what we do in Republic Day, just have a march. Doesn't want to be Independence Day, but could be any other day. That is one of the things. But I am, if I'm Australica, troubled a bit. What happens next year, God's willing? Will this parade be off because of security reasons? Because what we are seeing and the Bible is right. It's never wrong. It says that every word must come to pass. So there are going to be security reasons. And for a very long time, we have recognized that, even at the layman point of view. And we know it is wrong with what is happening in our country. Not today, years back, before even 1990 attempted coup. It is wrong to have your key or your top persons in one place in any celebration. We're talking about the president, the prime minister, the chief justice, you name it. Those are your executive, like it or not. To have them all in one place. Why can't we, or why they didn't think about, okay, the chief justice, maybe the attorney general, and your person who acts, the president of the Senate who acts when the president is out, away, unknown, in the event of anything. Those are things that they can think about. Because I'm saying, we all know what is happening in our country.
But is there multiple parades in Trinidad, as in one in Port of Spain, one in San Fernando? So is it that they could spread them out across the country instead of having all of them in Port of Spain?
Well,
I think because Port of Spain is the central, is the capital.
They have borough day parades.
Right. So they don't have other celebrations, other
They
parades?
used to.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they still do, but there are borough day parades that they go all out and have. Why not emanate something like that in Tobago? But as I say, I know of that magnitude because it came from the Ministry of Homeland Security, with the Prime Minister declaring that no Independence Parade and all other celebrations to do with it is cancelled. I think that the Assembly, I'm not sure, but I feel and I am almost certain that the Tobago House of Assembly hands are tied and they can't do anything.
Well, certainly their hands are tied because it was issued from the executive of Trinidad and Tobago, and as you said, it's one country, one nation. So once it's issued from the ministry, then we must comply. There's no way that we could do anything. But if an opportunity presents itself for a conversation, let's say the chief secretary decides we could still do something in Tobago on a small scale where we can identify this day as we're going to celebrate it some way. It doesn't have to be a public gathering. Are you willing to be a part of a conversation of that nature where we can, not just for this year, but in the event something should happen again for our national celebrations? How do we mitigate this situation and how do we have alternatives? Are you ready to be a part of that conversation?
We are always ready, you know. We are here to serve, and that's one of the key things about the Boys Brigade and Girls Association. We are here to serve, and we are always ready to participate in any national event or Tobago event. But as I say, we must be careful though, because we don't want to do anything to bring any friction between Trinidad and Tobago.
And the thing, Adana, is that if the assembly is to do something like that, it would have to be with the NGOs only.
Only.
That's right.
No,
Because
none of the military.
it can't
The
be
forces
part of
will
the
not,
national security apparatus.
And I suppose it also has to have there also has to be some kind of conversation with central government as well. There must be some measure of approval, because the bottom line is it's a national security issue. So it doesn't matter who gathers. So it has to, if the discussion is happening, those things have to be considered in the conversation as well. How do we still celebrate and not have the national gathering because of the fear of the threat that is being...
If there's a threat in Tobago itself, because based on what they may have gathered, there may not be any threat to Tobago itself. We're not sure. So they will have to do some assessment.
Yes, it is Trinidad and Tobago.
The thing is, we don't know, so we really have to comply, because we don't know what the intelligence is, you know, and we have to comply. This is where we have to trust the government of the day, and because we
make the best decision.
If I decide I want to go out there with my family and parade and something happen, that is my responsibility, because the government said no, and you're still, you know, insisting on yes. I mean, we really we feel it. We really feel it. Even the smallest and to the greatest, we all feel it. And I understand. And there are so many different elements to the conversation. And we had it in our banter earlier this morning. So many different angles you can come from and talk about. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
We have been they would have received.
That is right.
To me, yes.
There are two things I want to consider, though. One is that there are some people who are trivializing the parade, as I mentioned before.
And I don't like that.
I don't like it at all. On the other hand,
you spoke about people talking, but they just coming out to see water truck. There are a lot of people who complain when I go to meeting, complaining about the water truck, the fire service. They don't want them to wet them. So I know at a meeting, they told the fire representative, do not do it, because people will come. So what they're talking about, excuse the land for saying, but they come out to see fire truck.
Right, I know, and you know, so there are some people who are trivializing it, but they're also, I don't want it to be a situation where the nation now goes into panic. That could be the other end, the flip side of this now. So what is required of the government is, in as much as we can't know all the information, obviously, you can't give us all the information, but some measure of information that will keep us comfortable and confident in the fact that this is the decision, this is how the citizens now have to react, respond, behave, adjust to what is happening in terms of the information that is brought to light.
And who knows, maybe if they really do get the chance to nullify this threat, maybe we could have something for Republic Day.
Well, perhaps.
But you know, Republic Day is a Tobago parade. That does not happen in Trinidad. But you don't know if the said thing is going to happen then. Because the fact that Republic Day parade has grown. So we now have the armed forces on that parade. Right? Representative. And this is something, they might have to go back to maybe what it used to be, leave the armed forces out and allow the NGOs. You know,
well, it is what it is, and you know, Mr. Sheriff, one thing about me is that I love to see the Boys Brigade. I like to see the NGOs. I like to see the Boys Brigade, the Girls Guides. I like to see them, you know, because we start them up from young. Give them the interest from early, the information, the education. I mean, they're coming to march, and I'm sure they understand why they're marching. So they have the information, they have the education, they have the understanding and the love for country. They know that they're marching. This is for my country. This is where we came. I'm marching because we were under this kind of bondage and now we are free. So I like seeing them because they're growing up knowing and understanding. So I definitely will miss, you know, all of that this year.
I want to add something. You know, I was privileged, a young man, same practicing hard. We are Tambourine Square, car park there. They attempted coup. And the police came up there after and said, hey, send them train home, boy. Yeah, what's going on? I said, no. But there is an attempted coup in Trinidad. No, they didn't say attempted, they say coup in Trinidad, you know. But we were just a couple months into it. Not at the end of your preparation, you know. And that was a blow. And the day of prayer, because I remember they held a church service, and that went well. But I'm also saying to all of us, does it always have to take something like this for us to recognize a day of prayer? Can that now be implemented into our activity to mark the independence celebration and not a one-time off because what is happening? And it is something that they have to think about and in planning. You also said something that I've been saying when I go to meetings, and sometimes I think that they just prefer when I don't go to these meetings. No, I'm being honest. Of recognizing the value of these children. And I say every year, I did not go this year to the meeting. You know why? Because I say I'm fed up with them feeling that I...
bothering them.
Yeah. The bands in Trinidad are all paid. That's a work when the day come. They are paid. In Tobago, the bands are school trained, giving up their summer vacation to come out and practice. The long hours that they do practice. You can't find a proper place for them to sit down. Maybe I'm on the wrong forum saying it, right? And there are so many ills that we have to battle with to get this parade off. People come and they see them on Independence Day and woo! They don't know the trials. They don't know what we went through.
And this could be part of the wider conversation, you know, moving forward. I mean, in every industry, for every occasion, every event, you hear people having struggles in terms of, you see the end result, as you rightfully say, you see the end result, and they say this is so glorious, but they don't know the struggles and the sacrifices leading up. So I suppose this could be part of a wider conversation in terms of the management, the persons who are in charge, the persons who have the power to release the purse to get the things done, because I know that there are challenges. However, I am going to say here on behalf of myself that I appreciate the efforts that all the forces, the children, all the groups that come together, because I know it's a sacrifice. I didn't realize the sacrifice started from since February, you know, in the blazing sun. So I must say that I really, truly do appreciate the efforts. I appreciate the love for country. I appreciate the patriotism that we see on display come the 31st of August. I mean, when I tell you from the largest, from the greatest to the smallest, you know, people really come out for that celebration. So it's a blow to all of us. And I want to say that I appreciate the efforts going in there. And we're hoping that the conversation that we have moving forward will allow for something bigger and better. And Trinidad and Tobago will bounce back as we usually do. We will rise again, we will bounce back, and we will come bigger and better than before.
It is more than just bouncing back. I want to say to all of us that we must put the work in. We can't want, and it goes back to the home, we have to put the work in, all of us, to change it, to turn it around. It's not about the government. The government can only do so much.
Yeah.
Start in the home, it will emulate to the schools and the wider community. We can't afford to have our children behaving a certain way home and expect that when they go out it's going to be different. And when they do foolishness, we support them and vex with people for correcting them. We need to stop it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have to look at behavioral changes as well, cultural shifts. And we speak about those things on this program as well, you know, on the show as well, where we mention that you have to look at how things used to be in the past. Because I remember, you know, as a child growing up, you're spending the vacation by your grandparents because the grandparents were old enough to be at home. Now we having grandparents being younger and the grandparents at work as well. So the children who they're staying with, you know, and they're just left to their own devices. So all of those things we have to have a larger national conversation about as well, to ensure that we're in a place where we're solid, we're firm, and we have the morals and values that will cause us to really stand in the times of trials, in the times of troubles, in the times that we are in now. At least we have a solid foundation where people can come together. Ladies and gentlemen, we speak with Mr. Sheriff Tobias. He is the captain of the Boys Brigade here in Tobago. We're talking about Independence Parade 2025, which is now cancelled as issued by the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, coming out of the Ministry of Homeland Security. What do you think? What do you say? What are your views and your opinions where this this is concerned. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you say. In fact, you can WhatsApp us. Let us know your opinion where this is concerned on 2846597. I hope I got the number correct. I think that's the number, 2846597. WhatsApp us your opinion on this matter. Let us have the conversation. Let us have the discussion, and let us see what we feel, how we feel, and what we think where this is concerned. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations, and as we go, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Hair goals, we've got 'em. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy, for queens who know exactly what they want.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. Well, we had the conversation this morning, no Independence Day Parade 2025, a blow to the nation, but of course we must comply because, I mean, you and I don't know what the reasons are, the security reasons are, and so we want to keep ourselves safe. Yes, we are disappointed, but at the end of the day, our lives are worth so much more. Right, but there is a celebration, of course, you know, Tobago Day celebrations took place on the weekend in New York City, and the group, their team, they did a really nice production, and they have a recap for us. Were you there? If you were not there, now is your opportunity to participate, rather see what took place there in New York on Sunday as Tobago was on display for the world to see. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Tobago Day celebrations in New York City.
Mr. Fiddler, oh hi, hear ye, to all my Tobagonian people from far and near. All you could imagine they fly me and Valentine all the way to New York this year, from upstate Charlottesville all the way to, where we there? Nazareth High School. Man, we promise to bring all the flavor that will make you drool. Jag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
Oh, hi. They say roses are red and violets are blue. On this auspicious day, the bride and groom go say, I do. In our Tobago, marriage does stay tight. Once you know how to go down low in the night, you have to hush your mouth and reach home fast. Cook the sweat rice, your marriage sharp will last. So if you're looking for a good woman and man, come to Tobago and try your hand. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running down again. Jump and shake the ground again. Play with all my friends and them. No place like home. I feel like I'm running down again. Jump and shake the ground again. Fog up the place.
Lauren, you better wake up. I need a jet plane to take me non-stop. I can't stay in New York City when there is sunshine and fun in my country. And the success with the jamming, with Talian and Charlie's Roach clashing. Everyone happy partying, and I'm freezing in Brooklyn. Darling, Lauren, don't cry, I'm leaving. I can't miss this jamming. Got them steel band beating and woman background shaking. If the bug bite you, baby, then you could come and join me inside Redemption Steel Band, jamming on some man, woman. Bang, 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 bang. Come on, Lauren, sing along with me.
Vite, vite, tambale, lambayado, vite, 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 tambale.
long I've been waiting for.
Carnival.
So long I've been waiting for. You done book? You pick it done book? Well, here what to do. I want to jump to me, right? You ready? Take a jump. What? As we meet the preaching kid, as we meet up with, as I see I'm a friend and then he's back and all. As we meet the preaching kid, as we meet up with, what? As I see I'm a friend and then do this, pump it. Hey, I see ya. Just put your hands in the air. What? If you know you're not tired, listen. It's a kind of feeling when all the rocks waving and the whole crowd singing and everybody. Whoa! It's a kind of feeling when the punching hit me. That is the best feeling. Whoa! So when all they come in effect, we don't want the bad vibes, wrong, yeah. When all they come in effect, all we want is good vibes. Cause the carnival's so nice and they full up. One, take a jump. As we meet up with, as we meet up with, as I see him, he's back and all. As we meet up with, as we meet up with, as I see him, friend and then he's back and all. Miss Social. Miss Social. Put on the fire, yeah. It's a record together. Don't know about you, I come here to fetch, come to play,
Could all of you just come forward for a photo op?
Provided by my sister, Muddy, and the music jamming by foreign bass. If you see God and them mash up the place, mash it up, mash it up, mash it up. Tobago Pussy, we here to stay. Tobago Pussy, we here to stay.
This group of persons, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the first creme de la creme of team. Put your hands together for every one of them. And they have worked very hard to bring team to where it is today.
Come, let us make some noise for Tobago. Tobago, good evening. I am happy to be here along with the Chief Administrator. We also have a few other members of the THA who are somewhere in the mix. I think Assistant Secretary Tate is here and Sonny Craig is here. But we are here because we appreciate all our Tobago people, even those of you who live out here in the United States and elsewhere around the world. And so every year when we come here is to touch base with you and to remind you that you are still very much Tobagonian and you have the support of the Tobago House of Assembly. Tomorrow when we meet at Medgar Evans, we will get into some details about how you can invest back home in Tobago and how your government on the island of Tobago have been taking care of you and will continue to do so. I see a lot of good people, good folks, good music, good vibes, and so we're happy to have all of you outside here today. So let's make some noise again for Tobago. Let's shout Tobago, Tobago! Tobago! Tobago!
Oh no, Chief!
It's an honor for me to present this to you. Whereas Brooklyn serves as a proud and vibrant borough with a local reflection of the world's cultural diversity. And it is time-honored tradition within the United States House of the Representatives to take a moment to reflect on the many contributions and positive impacts made by members of our larger community. And I would not read all whereas, we're gonna go down. Now therefore, I, Yvette D. Clark, Member of Congress representing the 9th Congressional District of New York, do now acknowledge Chief Secretary Farley Chavez, Mr. Chavez, Augustine, with great honor and recognition. This is from Yvette D. Clark, and let it be known that this is recorded in Congress, despite some folks don't want us to be there. So thank you.
Put your hands together for your Chief Secretary. What an honor. What an honor.
So welcome everyone. My name is Ronaldo John, the founder of Bago Boy, the author of Bago Boy. The reason why we are here today is to promote Bago Boy the brand, Bago Boy the book, Bago Boy turning dreams into reality through faith and resilience, Bago Boy the foundation, where we are here to encourage and support young boys, young men within communities in Tobago. Support Bago Boy, support the initiative, support the movement. It's everything good, it's everything Tobago, it represents the island of Tobago. And we are here today in New York, spreading the good news, spreading the joys. We have Bago Boy with us. This is the book, grab a copy today. It's available on Amazon. Thank you, God bless you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hi, I am Dr. Faith Brubner, Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary for Health, Wellness and Social Protection. So we are here at the orientation for the TRHA internship. This is the 3rd year we're having this internship, and it really is an opportunity for young people to see the inner workings of the healthcare sector. And the inner workings of the healthcare sector would allow them to determine their career paths, and it's really just an opportunity for them to understand how healthcare really works and to see how they can be a part of that future.
Hi, I'm Jaylene Jennings Henry, former TRHA intern 2024. My experience with the TRHA internship program has been wonderful. I have gained a lot of experience, met new people. I did not go into the position that I wanted to go into, but the position that they placed me.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled programming to bring you this broadcast.
good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. This year's Independence celebration in Trinidad and Tobago will forego the traditional parade and fireworks, replaced by a National Day of Prayer and Reflection. While the government expects to save $2.6 million with the parade and fireworks, Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein cited security concerns under the state of emergency, noting funds will go to crime fighting. Meanwhile, no cost was disclosed for Tobago's parade and fireworks. The Office of the Chief Secretary confirmed in a press release that these events have also been cancelled and replaced with a National Day of Prayer and Reflection. Additionally, the cancellation of the Trinidad and Tobago's Independence Day Parade has sparked mixed reactions. THA Minority Leader Kelvin Morris has urged the government to reverse its decision to cancel the Independence Day Parade, calling it a cherished tradition that unites the nation. He argues that while a day of prayer is valuable, it should not replace the central independence celebrations. And additionally, Storby erupted in celebration as spectators welcomed the finishers of the 57th Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association Great Race last Saturday. Calm seas favored high-speed runs with track heat wave pilot by Morgan Hannock and John Michael Sabga, storming to Tobago in 1 hour and 15 minutes and 38 seconds to set a new E-Class record. Mr. Solo 2 clocked 120 amps, securing its 19th A-Class crown in 55 minutes 30 seconds and was the fastest boat to Tobago. Extreme Measures clinched a F-Class hat-trick, while Whitehead, Ketch and Ratchet also impressed the audience. And that was our news in 90 seconds. This morning, we jump straight ahead into our conversation, and we are talking all things health and social protection. This morning, I have the ability to sit here in studio with Assemblyman Dr. Faith Brebner, who's also the Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary in the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning and thanks for having me, Chanel.
Well, we are happy to have you back on the island of Tobago. We know that you recently returned from Thailand from your health conference. Tell us a bit about what that conference was about and why it's so important for Tobago to be represented at these international conferences.
Certainly. So this was a conference that happened in Thailand. It was the International Conference on Public Health 2025. And the theme of this conference, and I don't want to get it wrong, was redefining public health, harnessing innovation, collaboration, and equity for resilient public health systems. Now, the last part is what really caught my eye when I decided to attend the conference, because if you know me, you know that I am big on having systems that work. This is how I know, for example, that I am doing a decent job when the healthcare system works without someone having to actually call me for a result. When all of the pieces that need to work together are actually working together, and therefore Tobagonians are able to get the best kind of healthcare. So I went into this hoping to get a sense of what are some of the new and innovative things that are happening out there. What are some of the areas that we need to probably rethink, and what are some of the things that we could do in Tobago, of course, given our limited resources, given that we have all of these other competing interests. So that is why we decided to go to this conference, and being in Thailand also allowed me to experience that different kind of culture that we are not used to. I must say I am still experiencing the jet lag, or the reverse jet lag that comes from traveling so many hours, but we are back and we are ready to implement some of the things that we looked at and we discussed while there.
Right. And, you know, even as you look at those key areas of discussion that can be implemented here in Tobago, what were some of those particular standout points for you where you said, okay, we can definitely adopt this in short order with limited resources?
So before we go to the things that we can adopt, I would actually want to highlight one of the things that I recognized that caused me to be proud of where we are. In many instances, the research that was conducted and presented in Thailand represented people who were in their communities doing their thing and coming to say, this is what we found. And you know what we found, what I sat there and recognized? A lot of the things that they are now looking at, a lot of the things that they are now thinking about, we actually have already on the island. And it gave me a moment of pause to reflect and to think about the fact that we are not doing too bad. You know, as much as we hear the complaints and as much as the loud noise usually kind of overshadows all of the good things that we're doing, I recognized that in every single session where there were new things, yes, but when you heard someone, for example, talking about doing child care, and they were talking about having their nurses or their health professionals go into the communities, and the things that they are providing for them are shoes. Exactly, because they are walking bare feet to go and provide the kind of care they are talking about. It made me think, we are not as bad as I even think sometimes, and I need to give my doctors and nurses and the entire cadre of health professionals some kudos for where we are, what we are able to accomplish, and where we are going with this. So what are some of the things we are looking at? So we could go from some of the simplest things to some of the more advanced. One of the simpler things was looking at how we can truly support the families with children who may be a little bit challenged. What does that mean? We have situations here where we have the Autism Society or the Autism Organization. I don't want to call the name incorrectly. And we have actually pledged to do more work with that group because we are not starting from scratch. That group is already working with children with autism on the island. And therefore, what we need to do is simply provide the additional support that they may need to ensure that they can provide the foundation for parents to find support. I can't think of another word. So something as simple as that is one of the things that I thought to myself, yes, we do stuff with them, but doing one little thing more can really, really help them, or even some of the other agencies, those who deal with the elderly, those who deal with the people who are disabled, those who deal with those, working closer with those entities are critical to ensuring that we provide holistic care. And the fact that I am in a division that is health, wellness, and social protection allows me to see things from that broader scope, where some of these are actually social protection types of fixes compared to the traditional health type of fixes. Yeah.
Understood. And, you know, even with that, it's so important for persons to understand that taking these trips help to implement effective policies. And you touched a bit on helping the NGOs and the non-governmental sectors. What does that look like? Is that financial support? Is it using your resources to echo some of the work that they are doing by possibly using the information department to promote some of those initiatives, or giving them some of your platforms, sharing what they are doing in the community? What does that look like specifically for those organizations listening and saying, okay, you're saying that, but what does that look like for us practically? Because the work requires money. Like it's
the work requires money. Well, I would say the work requires resources.
Right.
And resources, we have financial resources is just one of them. We have already started partnering. So, for example, when the breastfeeding group, and I happened to be out of the country when they had their walk, one of the things they ask for is to simply help with a PA system and that kind of thing, so that they don't have to figure out how to spend money, or they don't have to figure out where to find money to spend on a PA system that we have in the division. We send out without a staff with the PA system, that is a type of partnership that works. But we also have a method of providing financial support through subventions to the various agencies. So we do it using two methods. The first is, let's just say there is just a daily event that needs to happen, and you simply need maybe a 5,000 to help with whatever a simple thing is. That is something that I can approve relatively easily. We go through the process and the agency gets that relatively easily, and that we've been doing. The other end of that, though, is something that is a longer term kind of support, which is really going through providing a subvention. And we've actually been calling on agencies to come to us because there are things that we would prefer not to have on staff or not to have under the remit of the division, but we partner with you and we provide maybe a $10,000 every month for the next year or for the next 2 years while you roll out your program. Now, the thing about that is, because we have to be very, very careful with government funding, and I don't particularly want anybody carrying my name to Commissioner of Police again, we need to ensure that the organizations that we provide that support to meet these basic criteria. So we have developed a subvention policy that they need to follow. You need to provide us with your financials and that you're really doing what you said you're doing, and then we will work towards providing you this ongoing support, whether it's, a 5,000, 10,000 for the next year to help you roll out this particular project that you are working on. So it varies.
Excellent. And, we're going to take a quick break right here, but we're going to be back with much more conversation. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passions. I beat and roll, all day we beat and roll, all day I beat and roll, all day we beat and roll. When the spirit it, I beat and roll, when the spirit it, when the spirit it, I beat and roll. What to do? Let us see how stick you could get, see how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could, see how stick you could, see how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could get, see how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could, see how stick you could, see how stick you could get. Wet me down, 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 wet me down. Right now I'm overeating. Wet me down, 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 wet me down. Right now I'm over.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Skibidi bang bang, yours truly be representing for Neon, a tribal affair by Highlighter Entertainment. We are here.
Tobago, are you ready? Highlighter Entertainment's Neon, a Tribal Affair. Costume sales are live. Register now at highlighterentertainment.com. This is Carnival meets culture. Rhythm meets rebellion. Neon is calling. And your moment is now. Light up the night.
I'm jamming on the pavement with Neon. On the pavement with Red Woman. If you come to rub and shoot.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Are you in a dispute?
Yeah. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go.
morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, this morning we have been chatting with Assemblyman Dr. Brea. Right, this morning we're talking about her recent trip to Thailand and all that has to do as it pertains to developing positive public health policies. Now, there's a conversation happening surrounding AI in healthcare. Talk to us a bit about that, and were you able to touch on that at the conference, and how does that influence how Tobago does healthcare moving forward?
Certainly, it is one of those topics that we are forced to talk about and forced to figure out where we are on the island, where we are going, and probably more importantly, forced to think about how we ensure that we bring Tobagonians along with us. That was discussed because there are quite a number of tools that are currently available for use via AI that would help us in the healthcare system. So if you think about the side of the patient, and let me talk about the patient first. Though we have to still be careful with the information that we pull from the internet, using AI to help you as a patient understand your diagnosis and to help you learn about what you can do on your side in collaboration with the health system to improve your outcome is actually one thing that we are encouraging, and one thing that we are saying, yes, go ahead and look at what is there, come back and have the conversation with your health professional. You may actually pick up a question that you should ask that you may not have even thought about. So just ask a ChatGPT, you know, I just got this diagnosis. What question should I ask the doctor? That is something that can help you, and you write it down, because when you get there, you may not even remember that this is what you should be having the conversation about. And that helps you guide the conversation along. So there is that side of it. But on the other side, in the health sector itself, we are trying to figure out how to use AI to do the things we needed to do. So for example, we just installed a brand new CT scanner, 64-slice CT scanner at Scarborough General Hospital. We also have one at the Roxborough Hospital that was installed some time before. And we now have the capacity to use AI to help with the reading of some of those slides and that kind of thing. I mean, it is an evolving kind of it's an evolving technique, but it is something that if we are not careful, we would be left behind the rest of the world, and we will not be able to utilize the advanced technologies that are available there. I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks ago, there was a surgeon who was in one country and actually did surgery in another country because they were using the robotics and that kind of stuff. So it is stuff like that we have to figure out how to ensure that we provide a top-tier health care for our people, while not necessarily leaving people behind. Because I think the part about AI that people are afraid of is the fact, and it is a fact, that there are going to be some jobs that we will not necessarily need humans to do because the machines can do it better, faster, more efficient. What we need to do now, though, is to have the honest conversations about what some of those jobs are, to ensure that the people who are currently studying them are studying them to with the ability to incorporate the new technologies with what they are learning, because we will still need human beings to be a part of the process as well. So it is that kind of conversation that we need to have honestly on the island, and it is going to affect the healthcare system, but I think it would affect the healthcare system positively as we go forward.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I remember I was doing an internship at Philips in the Netherlands, and they were talking about the ability to virtually monitor patients 24/7. So even with the equipment and the cameras and everything, you know, a doctor could be in the United States and be able to monitor a patient and see all the lab results, all the work, and inform the nurses on staff how to treat with that particular patient. Do you think that that's something that Tobago can see happening in the near future? How far away are we from adopting that type of technology, specifically seeing that we have this new Roxborough Hospital on its way?
So the thing that allows that to happen is the mechanism for transmitting the information. So the patient is sitting in Roxborough or Scarborough. There needs to be a method of looking at the patient, gathering what the patient is producing, as in the numbers that the patient is experiencing, and then transmitting that information in a secure, safe way to someone who can provide the feedback that's needed. That is where we are currently working, and that is where we need to invest quite a bit of monies in the TRHA to ensure that we have that digital connection, because that is the part that usually is where we have limited capacity right now. But the good thing is that it would actually help us not having to have a specialist come to the island for everything, and it means we would be able to also prevent our patients from having to leave the island if a specialist can't come, because they can read the scan from Trinidad or they can read the scan from the United States or wherever and provide the feedback, and then we know what to do with the patient. So we are not there yet. I am sure if the chair and the CEO of the TRHA are looking at this now, they are going to remind me that, yeah, we need the $10 million to do what you're talking about, Dr. Faith. But that is why we have been trying to prioritize the spend that we have at the TRHA to ensure that we focus on these key things. So we focus on getting the CT scan. That is a big chunk. We focus on getting a couple other things. And as we go along, we can now focus on getting that, because that is the next thing that's needed to get us to where we need to be.
And I even remember during my experiences at the hospital that, you know, they were able to see everything from the area where the nurses sit, right? So everything is on their screen. So they would come into the room and say, hey, we saw a spike in your heart rate, or we saw, you know, something seems a bit abnormal. So even as it pertains to that type of adapting that type of technology, I know that there are companies who come in and they do a complete assessment of your healthcare system and make recommendations based on some of the services and products that they carry to upgrade your system. So it's not like we have to now go looking to see what to put here, how to do that. There are people who already do that. So is that something that you are looking at as it pertains to its improvement?
Certainly, it is something that we are looking at. And the good thing is that we actually do already have a system that is already partially implemented in our healthcare system. If you recognize, when you go to the pharmacist, when they give you the script, they pull it up on their laptop. When you go to the lab, you get a report that is coming from an electronic system. So we already have parts of it already there. The part that is probably the most difficult part is the actual patient interface, where the doctor or the nurse is at your bedside with their tablet, for example, and your medical record is now in this digital format. That is the part that we are now moving towards, and hopefully we can get that done. I don't want to give a timeline, but hopefully we can get that done sooner rather than later. And then we would have all of the information about the patient in a single digital space, so that we can do that moving back and forth. And that is where we're heading to, and that is what is going to be costing the $10 million.
Right. But even as it pertains to the global digitalization initiative and the World Health Organization, are there not international grants available that we can tap into to move our healthcare system into a more technologically savvy place?
There are grants, and can I just say though that there are grants that are available via international agencies, and I will give a perfect example of why I kind of have a little bit more hope about using those grants now. Because we are the Tobago House of Assembly and we are not the government of Trinidad and Tobago, these entities usually have ties with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm not sure if you heard me speak during the campaigning for the general election. We actually had a situation where one of those international agencies was very willing to give us monies to do this exact thing for social protection, but the government of Trinidad and Tobago at that time basically said to them, hold all your hands, we don't want it to happen in Tobago first.
Okay.
So because of that little kind of red tape kind of thing, we were not able to utilize some of those resources that we know are available to us. I am hoping now, though, that with the change of the government, we would have a little bit more political will to have that kind of collaboration happen with the Tobago House of Assembly, and we'll be able to utilize some of those resources that are available out there.
Excellent. Well, we're going to shift gears a bit, and we are now jumping into Deputy Chief Secretary, and we're talking about the parade, the cancellation of the traditional Independence Day parade and fireworks. We heard in the news in 90 seconds that this also applies to Tobago, meaning that we are also observing that National Day of Prayer. Tell us about the collaboration between the central government and the THA as it pertains to this particular cancellation. Persons are asking, were we aware prior to the public announcement that this was going to happen, or was the THA also made aware when this was made public as well?
So if you recognize, national security issues are just that, national security issues. And in many instances, we needed to make national security decisions not on a whim, but doing it in a way that catches people off guard. When you read the release that came out, or when you listen to the ministers when they were speaking about this, it is quite clear that something is happening in the background. Now, I am not at liberty to speak about the thing that is happening in the background, but just know, Tobago, that if we are at the point where an entire Independence Day parade is being cancelled, then know that the thing that is happening in the background is serious, severe, and potentially life-changing for many of us. So let's just recognize that. Now, at the Tobago House of Assembly level, again, because the Tobago House of Assembly does not allow the Tobago House of Assembly to be responsible for 6 scheduled items, and national security is a 6th scheduled item, we kind of, as the release that came out of the office of the Chief Sec said, we kind of just need to follow the guidelines as provided by the National Security Council. The Chief Sec is frequently updated on discussions that have happened in the National Security Council. We also have our Tobago Security Council, where I have actually sat in some of those meetings where we come together with our head security people. But just know that this decision was not taken lightly. And this decision was not taken simply because, we want to save some money.
Right.
This decision was taken because we needed to secure and safeguard top security personnel and top government personnel.
Right. And even as it pertains to the National Security Council, is this not made up of parliamentarians?
So the National Security Council is headed by the Prime Minister, and it includes members of the cabinet, and it also includes members of the security apparatus. So like the head of police, the head of army, and that kind of thing.
Was it not important in this case to involve a Tobago security representative, whether it be the head of security for Tobago or one of the Tobago representatives?
How do you know that one wasn't?
I'm not sure. I'm just asking.
You don't assume that one wasn't.
I'm just asking. Is it not important to have that person at the table, and is that person at the table?
So let's just say that when we come to national security issues, we are now in a much better position where Tobago sits at the table, not necessarily in the National Security Council meetings however often they happen, but we are at the table and we do get the information that's needed.
Understood. Even as it pertains to Tobago taking the stand to also not have that Independence Day parade, was that something that we had the ability to say, okay, we want to, or we are, Tobago is not under threat, so we don't, this doesn't apply to us? Did we have the ability to say that even as we move towards a more autonomous Tobago?
So the thing is, when you talk about national security, it is Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago does not have the authority to go against national security, particularly since at this point, Tobago does not have an independent security mechanism. Remember, the police we have are all TTPS. The fire people are all Trinidad and Tobago. The army people are all Trinidad and Tobago. So we have to take into consideration what it would take to have, for example, a significant threat in Trinidad being executed or not executed, and having a significant or similar threat in Tobago being executed or not executed, and what it would take to protect us. We have to be conscious of what that means. And at this point, we do not have that level of authority. We do not have that level of autonomy. And in some instances, it is wiser to listen to the advice of those who have all of the information than to say, we just want to do our own thing because we feel we're bigger. Because I am sure if anything were to really happen, because we did not heed the advice, the same people who are now loudest speaking about what we should or shouldn't do may not even be around to speak.
Understood.
After that day.
Right. Talking about that national threat on public officials, does that apply to members of the THA?
I can't go into that, Chanel.
Okay. Understood. But even as we move forward with that conversation about independence, talk to us about what are some of the alternatives that can happen here in Tobago to celebrate the Independence Day celebration outside of just the observation of the Day of Prayer. Is there anything that's currently brewing as it pertains to what we can do, whether it be a virtual experience? What is happening?
So we are looking at all of the options, and we will make, and I would allow the Chief Secretary when he returns to make the announcement or pronouncement, I don't know what's the better word, about how we will do this in Tobago. But we have been tossing up some ideas of what the options are, and but I would allow him to make that announcement.
Excellent. Shifting gears back a bit to health, you made an announcement, or the division made an announcement recently that a number of those ambulances would be taken off of route for maintenance. Tell us a bit about that.
So what we have is regular maintenance. And to be honest, there is a decision to, instead of allow the ambulances that we have to fall by the wayside because we don't do regular maintenance, we have decided that we will continually do regular maintenance of the ambulances that we have. We have the ones that are new, that are here, that are functioning, that we need to continue to have training with. There are issues, for example, or let me not say issues, there are differences in how the engine works, in what kind of fuel needs to go in what additives we need to put with the fuel to prevent it from smoking, and all of those things that have been, that we need to work through and to have our staff understand. In some instances, we need to course correct because somebody did something that they shouldn't have, kind of thing. So because we understand that, we have decided that instead of allowing it to just go by, we would continue doing the maintenance. So sometimes when you see stuff happening, it really is just that is happening versus making a big hoopla about it. I am happy to state, though, that the supplier of the ambulances has indicated that we would be getting a couple more soon. We are not going to get them all because we still need about 8 more. We are not going to get all of them at the same time because, you know, if you get all at the same time, it means they are going to all come to the end of their life at the same time, which is what happened with the last set, which we do not want. So we should be getting an additional 2 sometime soon, and then we will get some further along the year as we go along. So it's nothing to really be too concerned about. It's just part of us shifting how we do things in the Tobago Regional Health Authority and ensuring that the items that we purchase, that they are well maintained so that they can last as long as possible.
And while these ambulances are being maintained, what are some of the alternatives that would be used during that time?
So, well, remember, we actually are in a better place now because we came from a space maybe a Christmas or 2 ago where we had no ambulances in essence, or maybe 1 or 2 that were working from the Tobago Regional Health Authority. We still have the least ambulances that we've been using, so those are still on the road, and we have the new ambulances that we have. So we actually have 3 different kinds of ambulances in route right now. The old ones that, you know, we still tinker to make sure that they're there, the least ones and the new ones. So we do not think that it would affect the way we are able to provide service. We just need to make sure that we do that to prevent them from going down and prevent the fleet that we have from becoming too small again, because we did not work on the preventative stuff.
Right, but that type of maintenance doesn't take too long, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just a matter of in and out. It certainly doesn't. I am hoping that people do not even recognize that it is happening, to be honest.
Right. And even as we round up our discussion, just a few weeks ago, there was an event that took place with one of the heads of department at the social protection unit. There was a release from the division stating that, they would allow the investigation to continue and allow the relevant bodies to do their job. So far, from the division's perspective, we have not heard whether or not that person has been let go or if they are still at the division. These are the questions that continue to arise. Can you tell us anything about the situation?
Certainly, and when that release was done, and I am sure at this exact moment, my IR, my legal people, and my comms people are shaking in their boots because they don't know what I'm about to say.
Yes.
But I am going to say to you, we have taken this situation seriously. We are doing everything that we can do to ensure that we follow the steps that need to be followed in terms of all of the processes. And as I said to another media house recently, when we are able to make an announcement, a further announcement about that, we would make a further announcement about that. We do not want a situation where I speak out of turn and that causes the processes to not happen the way they should be. But just know that we are doing everything that we can do to ensure that all of our stakeholders are taken care of, to ensure that all of our stakeholders are protected. And me not speaking is not necessarily because we are not doing anything.
Right, but is there no mechanism in place within the constructs of these current THA
And the mechanism is working.
Contracts that allow for, in cases like this, for these persons to be let go?
So the mechanism is working. I am just not at liberty to speak about the mechanism that we are using right now publicly.
Understood. Well, we are hoping for an outcome that is in the best interest of all and one that can maintain the credibility and the stability of the social protection unit and department. Because, one of the things that came up is public confidence and public trust in the department when there's a situation where persons who are tasked with having a position to help persons are the ones, or even being a traumologist inflicting trauma. So
let me say that the Department of Social Protection is staffed with hundreds of employees, and they have been doing their jobs. They have been doing their jobs to the best of their ability, and my job as secretary with responsibility is to provide them with the resources that they needed to do their jobs. They have not had to not do their job because of this situation at all, and we ensured that. So the public does not need to be concerned. As I said before, our stakeholders, we take all of our stakeholders and their safety and their protection into consideration. And that is what we have been working on. And those are the mechanisms we have put in place. It is simply that I am not at liberty at this point to speak about what those things are that we have done just yet.
Excellent. Well, I know that, you have a busy schedule this morning, and we try to squeeze as much as we could out of you, with the limited time that we had. But even before we go, is there anything that you want to say to Tobagonians before you leave?
Certainly, I just want to encourage Tobagonians to continue thinking about their health and wellness in a serious way. Continue thinking about what you can do at an individual and family level to ensure that you do not need, for example, to come up to the hospital, or that you do not need to go to the health centers. And when you do, please do so. At the Department of Social Protection, we also do, we do quite a number of things that help you cope with whatever you may be treating with, and that includes counseling and that kind of stuff, and we are encouraging people to use the services that we have here. But just know that we are here to work with you to ensure that you are as safe and that you are as well as possible, and I am encouraging Tobagonians to work with us to do that.
Right, and we clearly see that you are being an example of that, with your newfound health journey. We see it, and we see it on the social media. We see you being very active and taking those proactive steps. Guys, as we end off this morning, we want to thank you for being a part of our discussion this morning, but we are going to end by bringing you some highlights from that Tobago Day celebration that took place yesterday in New York.
Oh God, it's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
You won't no run but sing it so. All you really have to know. Sing the chorus as you go. When you really get the beat, good Lord, just start to drag your feet and you must get the swing. Just as long as you sing, sing. La la, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Hold on, hold on. La la. You could put your two hand akimbo, rock your body to and fro, bring your hand up in your chest, let your waistline do the rest. When you're ready, get this song and you whine until you touch the ground. Let you know and you feel it, but remember to sing, sing. La la. You want to rest, you want to stop, the rhythm keep on getting up. The crowd so thick it's hard to breathe. Whole place smell like honey. You jump up high and start to scream. The way the rhythm make you feel, then you reel and you rock. But you know you can't stop saying la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. It was a big lion competition to see who the will crown as lion champion. Lions from the parts of the West Indies, they shot lions from all them foreign countries. From a field about 1,000 or so in 2 days, they boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on Lion the lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they have a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He said his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman wide, 80 feet in span. He had to tie on the boat and swim back to land to get my brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear that? That is lie, lie. You hear lie? Teacher Posey say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Play the music. Wait, sir. Let go. Check it out. Lion the lion, he laughed till he sweat. He said, Mr. Debo, ain't say nothing yet. If you really want to hear about fishing, let mine now. Something when you're talking about fish, you just hit this spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, the youth was great, but the them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead of once in the show, completely eliminated Mr. Debo. The next man to compete was really outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie for us. The judges asked Lion, the lion agreed. Say any talk me will think is alright with me. He a greater side strong, let me meet head on. And when we done see you head fit to wear the crown your hair like. That is lie, your hair lie. Teach your pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Let it go, shook it up. Yeah. The outrageous say that he knew a tailor comes to making soup. The man is a master. If you show him a man going around a corner, he could knock him a suit and don't even measure. I'm talking about suit sitting down correct, expertly made and fitting perfect. He used to sew for Shakespeare, made suit for Hamlet, and up to this day he yet made a mistake yet. You know the crowd went wild. I wouldn't cool down. I said if I had the lion losing the crown, the judges brought the crowd back to order and asked the judges to lie about the tailor. He said my man is the best, Rolf is his name. Cutting cloth, making suit is his game. Don't show him the man, my tailor is class. Just show him the corner where the fella pass, and he go make a suit. That is tailor, your hair lie, king liar. Teach your pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Move it up, move it up, move it up. Teach your pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Mama tell me, since a baby, don't ask people just so when you in Tobago, don't be proud. Tell them how they. I said, what the reason, mommy, is that she tell me. Well, sir, all of we is one family. Raise up time. All of we is one family. All of we is one family. All of we is one family. Let me run. One for me, one for you.
Back it up, Nelson.
Me lover.